again, the Owings Mills Mall, that was the place. I mean, it was thriving. It was an upscale mall. When you shopped there years ago, you could say hello to filmmaker Barry Levinson's mom sitting there in the food court. Well, now Owings Mills Mall can barely keep stores in business. Despite a construction boom in the area, there are still a high percentage of retail spaces sitting empty along busy Reisterstown Road.
Well, Jamie, at nearly 12%, Reisterstown Road's retail vacancy rate is more than double the average for the greater Baltimore area. But real estate experts say there's a big 1 million square foot explanation. Dirt is moving all around construction sites on and around Reisterstown Road. From the future home of the Foundry Row Shopping Center at Painters Mill Road to nearby Metro Center, with its mix of office, retail, and apartments built around the Owings Mills Metro stop. Once finished, the two developments will have more than 750,000 square feet of retail space between them.
The demographics are strong. The main arterial road, Reisterstown Road, has phenomenal traffic counts that number between 30 and 40,000 different intersections.
You would think with all of this construction that there's a need for more retail space, but other numbers tell a different story. Compared to the greater Baltimore area's average retail vacancy rate of 5.2%, a whopping 12% of retail space in the Reisterstown Road corridor is empty. That's according to the latest McKinsey Commercial Real Estate report. The corridor includes Pikesville, Owings Mills, and Reisterstown along Reisterstown Road.
If we're talking in terms of retail vacancy, why is there so much of it? I think we'd have to point at Owings Mills Mall.
The Owings Mills Mall opened to much fanfare in 1986, as seen in this vintage Channel 2 news clip.
Champagne, gold dust, and pink feathers heralded in a new era for Owings Mills.
Once packed with shoppers, it was the area's premier upscale shopping destination.
The so-called upscale fashion mall, not shopping, but fashion mall, will house 160 shops.
Now, 28 years later, the mall is a shell of its former self. Outside, its parking lots are empty. Inside, an eerie and alarming sight. Fewer than 30 shops and eateries occupy the more than 1 million square foot space. Jeff Freeman grew up in Owings Mills and has fond memories of the once vibrant mall.
When I go in, it's almost like I'm in a dream, like I'm expecting it to be that way again, and I turn the corner and it's not. So it really saddens me.
Still anchored by Macy's and JCPenney, the mall struggled to retain tenants for years. With Foundry Row and Metro Center's completion on the horizon, the question of what to do with the largely vacant mall has gotten even more complicated. Mike Gioso, a real estate advisor with McKinsey Commercial, says nationally the trend has moved away from enclosed shopping malls.
Just the traditional de-malling that's occurred at Laurel, at Hunt Valley, where you take big box retailers, externalize their storefronts, and make it sort of a more lifestyle streetscape plaza.
In 2011, General Growth Properties announced a partnership with Kimco Realty to redevelop the Owings Mills Mall into more of an outdoor shopping center. But that was before the Foundry Row project broke ground just 2 miles away and secured Wegmans as an anchor. Close to 3 years after the announcement, the mall remains unchanged. Colleen Brady, president of the Reisterstown Owings Mills Glendon Chamber of Commerce, is optimistic that there is a market for 3 major retail destinations to be successful.
I think that's a triangle. You know, between once the mall gets rehabilitated, we have the Metro Center and we have Foundry Row. I think that's going to be the hub of this part of the county.
But in the face of stiff outdoor shopping center competition, Friedman says keeping the mall mostly indoors would allow it to stand out.
Staying as an indoor mall or a combination indoor and outdoor mall would provide something different to the community that with some changes and some upgrades would allow it to thrive.
Though they're doing most of their shopping elsewhere now, many in Owings Mills and the surrounding communities aren't willing to give up on the mall just yet.
I think it has a lot of potential, but I think we're still in a wait-and-see place there.
I grew up with this mall, and I feel like it's something that should remain here and can really thrive in the community.
I did reach out to General Growth Properties and Kimco Realty to check on the status of the mall's redevelopment. a spokesman for Kimco Realty tells me the project is not dead. In a statement, he said, quote, large-scale redevelopment projects such as Owings Mills often take place over an extended time frame, and we continue to evaluate the highest and best use of the property. There has been an ongoing dialogue with a number of established and well-known prospective tenants, and we remain excited about the long-term value creation opportunities that exist.
I cannot believe what happened to the Owings Mills Mall.
Right.
I cannot believe
That
it.
clip is unbelievable.
Yeah, that was Susan White Bowden reporting back then, right? Oh my! You got Foundry Row, you have Metro Center, which is really, really nice. Are there any other options that the mall can do besides looking for retail to move in?
Well, the real estate expert that I spoke to said that they really need to consider alternative uses. For instance, now that the Affordable Care Act has expanded access to health insurance, many empty storefronts are being converted into healthcare or medical facilities to meet the growing demand. And also what some other retailers have done is actually converted that empty retail space into apartments. So whatever they do, Jamie, it's not going to be a cheap fix.
I gotcha. All right, thank you, Trang. Baltimore County has also established several enterprise zones where businesses are encouraged with tax credits and other incentives to help revitalize the area. And for that side of the story, from our In Focus digital investigators, all you have to do is log on to abc2news.com/infocus.